Camera piece of shit won't work. God damn. I'm fucking stupid. So I never had the camera on. Also, I don't want you to see my dick. At least not yet, Daddy. Alright. Alright. So yeah, we got our ice cream. If I point this down too far, you're gonna see some naughty boys. Oh, that's too tall. I don't know. Fucking hell with it. I don't care. So here's our ice cream, a fudge swirl. It's a blue ribbon. Did I buy sharks? No, I didn't. I need to buy more sharks. Shar. No, not Hark. Why the fuck does never get the first one? Sharky shark. Oh, my shoulder hurts. Look at this dude, like one fucking coin. Because games necklace. You know, we're just gonna. Oh. Oh. I had some green wasabi, and for those of you that know, the General Tso's is a little bit spicy. I fucking hate that. General Tso's is a little on the spicy side. Fuck over. Yeah, I'm going back to winter tote. Come on, fucking quick switch, you thought. You know, I paid $80,000 to that one bitch to unfreeze my fairy ring. And I haven't really used it since. Oh, we gotta turn them. That's got a pretty good amount of health. Ah, oh, fuck, I forgot the axe. God damn it, I'm stupid. What is it, winter? Why are you going? Oh my fucking god, this goddamn useless ass bitch. I want to get 99 fire making just so I can show my fucking ass off. But I don't want to put in the effort. I still haven't gotten the fucking beaver. So my stupid ass went into the commissary right after work, and I picked up so much ice cream. I got like 4 tubs, 4 pizzas. God damn it, Winter Daddy. Can't tell this. Oh, shut the fuck up, Doomer. Susan Sakoran can suck my dick. I really can't see the timer left. "34 seconds. Oh, nope, it's started. Is there like nobody on Winter Talk? Like... Oh, shut the fuck up, Winter Daddy. Oh, my mic isn't even pointed. You need to get up all in this creamy goodness. Mike's literally right here off camera. This is sheer entertainment. Stop. Holy fuck, stop hurting me, Daddy. Don't hurt me, Daddy. But it's love. Ah, you got me. Fuck this brazier. Well, I ain't got a fucking hammer. Can you stop biting my ass like that, for fuck's sake? What the fuck did I just tell you? The fuck did I just tell it? See, my screen's over here. Like, it's a left screen that I use because I don't use the fucking right screen except for YouTube, which is where the camera is. Hey there. Camera's right down here. But I'm looking at the camera on the right screen. I'm looking at the camera on the left. Fucking God, dude! Dude! I should rename this episode Winter Tot Daddy Comes Out of the Snow to Come Fuck Me Hard. Oh, yeah. Yes, thank you, Winter Tot. Very cool. I love getting molested. I'm gonna lick all this off. You couldn't let me lick this off first? Alright, I'm gonna lick this off. Really? I can't get through one fucking minute without you beating my ass? I just gotta enjoy my ice cream on the lid, and you come around and start fucking me like I'm a whore. I have some dignity. I have some dignity. Proceed to let come off a plate. Wonder Daddy fucks me like I'm his whore. You're my bitch. Oh no. Fuck. Fucking get your bitch ass up. No, run south. South. Yes, I did. Winter Coat was damaging me. sure I just all that damage was like a tactical nuke. Get Peter. My joints hurt. Winter Daddy does not love me. After this, I think I'm going to do my own world. I fucking hate this boss with people that are incompetent. I mean, those incompetent people tend to be me, so. Chop, chop. Oh, I farted during that. Yeah, after this, I'm going to do a solo round because this winter top really just wants to fuck me. Fuck me, Jerry. Fuck me. Oh, God, I don't feel good. Those, like, 3 bites of ice cream just really fucked me up. Winter throat's hitting me so hard, it's fucking my real life stats. Yeah, I got some cool things. Yeah, I'm gonna switch worlds because this is bullshit. I'm gonna be right back. First, we're just gonna switch it to, I don't know. Let me fucking switch. I'm sorry, I am retarded. Fucking switch! Alright, we're gonna put the ice cream up after one more bite. Let's do this without showing our penis on the screen. Oh my god, that fucking reeks. Woo! Chinese! It looks hard in your mouth. Wholesome Chonkers 100. Fucking love watching my own videos. I don't. I just want to eat some beans from somebody's ass. I just want to sniff my girlfriend's ass. That's all I really want to do, kinks. Isn't that all we want in life? Bro, can you stop fucking hurting me? About love, baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more.
This video is brought to you by Squarespace.
Yeah, Holes was a classic movie, but it didn't make any fucking sense.
Sunday, just eat it.
The science of a hole is incredible. This circular void is the reason behind so many great things in life. You put a hole in your pants so you can wear them. You put a hole in your walls so you can screw them. You put a hole in your enemies so you can cap them. And you put a hole in cheese
fucked the holes in my wall. I put my dick in it.
Life would be surface level. No way.
Fix it. Oh, I thought that said fix this bread.
That's why when I discovered the 2003 sci-fi documentary Holes, I was overjoyed with a movie about digging holes.
I watched way too many memes to be saying, yeah, I fucked the holes. Fix his bread.
Up, an animated movie that stars the Lord and Savior, totally sane man Shia LaBeouf, and his legacy of voicing a surfing penguin. But before he left us a legacy, there was a time where he was born amongst the stars. He needed to seek redemption as a child actor in Holes. Holes is just an incredible movie through and through. The amount of iconic-ass lines and scenes in this movie is a feat to behold.
Stop fucking snapping my shit.
The cheesiest writing, the weirdest editing, and the most over-the-top acting I have ever seen. Just look at Jon Voight. Look at how he fucking reacts to things. Look at him. I love it so much. No one in this movie is written to be like an actual human being, but God, I do not care. It makes for one of the most entertaining experiences ever. It's a movie that just feels untouched by the elements of time. Like an artifact discovered in the desert. It feels so disconnected, and so strange to actually be a functioning movie. But it's so fun.
Excuse me, can you throw in another pile or something? Because it keeps getting in my hole.
Shut up, man. Shut up.
Man, watch where you throwing your dirt, Stanley.
The movie is about Shia LaBeouf, badass, and his struggle of being sent to camp for bad kids, and everyone there has to dig hundreds and hundreds of holes. So the movie begins with a bunch of kids digging holes within a desert. You got one kid who notices a sneaky boy, so he goes to take off his shoes and goes over to play footsies and screams in his pleasure of his happiness. Cut to a pair of shoes flying in the air, and we see Shia LaBeouf walking down the street until the shoes fall straight on his head. We then meet his parents. You got Fonzie and that mom from the Fred movie. The Fonzie dad has a really obsessive foot fetish, so when the cops come to investigate, he tries to hit on them.
Could I just smell your shoe? How about if you take your shoe off?
The cops are offended, so they send his son to camp jail. Shia plays the character of Stanley Yelnats. Yelnats is Stanley backwards, so his name is Stanley. What a nerd. So when he gets to camp, he meets Mr. Sir.
Nothing to run away, Mr. Sir.
Good thinking, Yelnats. Doesn't nobody run away from here. You know why?
We also meet that guy who looks like if the letter Y was a person, as well as a lot of kids at the camp. These are the kind of kids that act real tough, but you know they got that deep, sensitive side deep down within them. You also meet Zero. He's called Zero because he's super quiet, and the amount of fucks he gives are zero. We then get a flashback of his family telling the flashback of an old story of Kissing Kate Barlow. We learn that Shia's great-grandfather was robbed by Kissing Kate and she stole his treasure chest. We then cut to Shia Stanley's first day of digging holes. He learns that he's digging to find something, but also not. But he also is, but he's also not. It's very confusing. We then get yet another flashback, even further back in time, about Stanley Shia's great-great-great-grandfather. And it gets a little weird and complicated. Some shit about pig trading and arranged marriages.
You can keep my pig as bedding place.
And the dude has to bring an old lady to the mountain, or his bloodline is cursed. It gets really weird, but it's pretty funny.
If you forget to come back for Madame Corona, you and your family will be cursed for always and eternally.
Later that night, in the present, Stanley gets held at gunpoint by Mr. Sir. Here we get some beautiful CGI lizard carnage. But just keep looking at John Voight's face. How can you not enjoy that? Why does he look like that? What is he doing? So Shia digs some more holes. He finds a fossil, and we get yet another flashback. Here we see Kissing Kate Barlow before she's
Oh, by the
kissing
way,
Kate
I'm not
Barlow.
using this
We also
video
get
for like
Sam,
claiming it.
who's
It's
selling
his
onions.
fucking property.
And that is a fat-ass onion, but Sam is incredible. We'll get to him in a bit, but he's iconic as fuck. So we get more hole digging, and more hole digging. Oh baby, just watch them dig those beautiful holes. But then, oh shit, Stanley found something. So everyone comes to see what it is. But this one kid comes up and takes that shit, so he can get the day off tomorrow. Since one of the kids found something, the head honcho finally comes out, and we meet Miss Sigourney fucking Weaver. She runs the joint, and she fucking owns your ass.
But first, fill everyone's canteen.
I already filled them.
Excuse me?
I had already filled them when you drove up in the car.
I mean, remember, there's human rights violations going on in that camp like all the fucking time.
Flashback time. So we now get Sam and not Kissing Kate Barlow going on a montage of how they got closer and closer together. Sam gets his way into her life by fixing all that's broken. This man is a real fixer-upper.
I'll fix that roof in exchange for 3 jobs to get spy speeches.
He fixes her roof, her door. I mean, he could probably fix a broken marriage.
I can fix that.
This man is like fucking flex tape. He comes at her later on when she's crying, and you know what he says to her? Oh my god!
Stop fucking doing that, you
This is the way to
whore!
heaven, and he'll
Not
have
you,
to
him.
because later on he fucking dies. But you know, back to the present, and all the boys are digging mad holes.
Stop.
One kid plays a prank on Mr. Sir and steals his bag of sunflower seeds, and then he turns around and comes back for them. So the kid throws a bag at Stanley and gets the boy in some hot shit.
How did this get here?
What?
How did this get there? Did it fall from the sky? Huh?
So Mr. Sir takes Shia back to the warden, and oh boy, the warden is like, "You're really bugging me over this stupid bullshit? I'ma slice you up real quick." So she cuts his face, and Stanley goes back to dig some holes. Turns out that Zero penetrated Shia's hole before he could, so in turn he offers to teach Zero how to read.
Wait,
We
what?
then get a montage of Kissing Kate Barlow taking revenge on a bunch of shitty men across the lands, and soon the letter Y guy insults Zero so hard that Zero starts to give more than 0 fucks, and he slaps him with the shovel and runs away into the desert.
Dong.
Shia Stanley is inspired by his rebellion, so he steals Mr. Sir's truck and drives away until he falls into a hole. He gets out and runs into the desert until he comes across an old boat Zero is laying under. Underneath, they drink this black sludge that Zero calls sploosh, and they head out towards the nearest mountain. It turns out that Stanley's great-great-great-grandfather survived by going to this same mountain because it's called God's Erection. They climb the mountain, and once they get to the top, they find water. But not just water, they find fucking onions. Red, fat-ass onions. Sweet fucking red, fat-ass onions. That sustains them. This movie really made me believe that red onions were actually some kind of dessert growing up. So we then get another flashback. Dude, this movie is only flashbacks and holes. What do you want me to say? So we learned that Zero is the reason Shia LaDick dude is in the prison camp. It turns out that Zero was homeless and he stole the shoes. And when he heard cops coming, he took off the shoes and threw them over the ledge. But somehow had enough time to tie them together, I guess. And so Shia ended up here, and Zero got caught like a day later stealing other shit, and that's why he's there too. So back to the camp, Shia Stanley's lawyer arrives and wonders, yo, where the fuck is Stanley? This boy is free to go home. But they're still at the mountain. But they get a real
they're
good
committing
urge
crimes
to go
against
dig up some
humanity.
holes, and they go and dig a beautiful hole. And oddly enough, they ended up finding the treasure Kissing Kate Barlow stole from his great-grandfather. Oh, and she fucking died when she just gave up on running from the cops after she buried all of the loot that she took from crappy men. We also learned that the warden is the daughter of one of those crappy men, and she was forced to dig holes as a kid to find the treasure in the lake.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad!
What the fuck? So that's
Oh my god, get off your fucking ass!
So while Stanley and Zero
There's-
are in the
well,
hole
we
with
gotta
the
say
treasure,
the-
they're also covered
Fucking
with the
get
bunch
off
of
your
deadly
ass, you
lizards.
fucking
But
pussy.
Stanley's just like, fuck
Keep
it,
this
I'm
fucking
getting out.
rejuvenation
So he
potion
gets
on
out
your
and tells the
ass.
warden
Holy
off.
fuck, I
It
should
turns
just
out that
leave?
The treasure has Shia's name on it, and the lawyer gets the can't close down. Shia becomes a millionaire because it turns out that the treasure chest had like insane amounts of treasure in it. Zero gives more than 0 fucks, and his dad with the foot fetish starts a company called Sploosh. And the end. It's a happy
sounds
ending,
good.
Huzzah, everything works
Nut.
out. Holes has an incredibly convoluted, mad convenient plot that is strange as fuck and makes no sense. But god, do I adore it. The entire movie is just full of constant energy in the weird editing or from the over-the-top performances. From all the iconic lines and moments, you can see why I love this movie so much. I mean, just look at all of those beautiful holes. So many beautiful fucking holes. I can't describe them perfect enough. I have to send it to my boy Nitpicks to bring the beauty of holes some real
Yeah, I'm gonna leave the camera off for a bit so I can... Ah. I need to scrape my teeth. I'm gonna let it get back up to 15% or so. Let's say 15% or more on car insurance. This is just shit posting. Beans, 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 beans.
What's the highest you've ever jumped? For most
About
of us, that
12
number
feet.
never exceeds more than a few feet, for the simple reason that jumping off anything higher is terrifying. Basophobia, or the fear of falling, is a phobia inherent to humans and many species of animals. In the visual cliff experiment, a vast majority of infants would not cross what appeared to them as a steep drop. The fear of falling appears to be ingrained into the very fiber.
We just fucking lined up a bunch of babies and see if they would fall off a fucking ledge. Shit, I'll shove some kids off a ledge. Well, I'm not gonna say that. I mean, your kids are gonna fucking fall. They're stupid. Hey, look, I'm gonna jump. Yeet. Aw, poor baby. I can fucking tell them, yeah, we kidnapped your child to do an experiment, and the results will shock you. Doctors threw babies over a ledge, over a cliff. The results will shock you. It's just clickbaity, honestly.
Of our being. It's a sensation that's mutually understood by all, but somewhat difficult to articulate. Statistically speaking, you're about 100 times more likely to die in a car accident than a plane crash, yet most of us undoubtedly find flying much more terrifying than driving. So why is this the case? Well, for me, the answer lies in the element of control. If you're driving and something goes wrong, you at least feel like you have some input over your own destiny. If something goes wrong on a plane, well, you're just along for the ride. There's a certainty to falling that's impossible to deny. Once you step over the edge, you become nothing more than an object in motion. Your status, wealth, athleticism, intellect, none of it matters at that
Look,
point.
I'm so fucking stupid. I can fall from the plane, and God would not want me there. Hey, y'all get this bitch out of my heaven. Get your ass out of here, boy. Yeah, you definitely get more XP just doing it normal way in the world. I think this is far more profitable.
The complete mercy of nature and the unbreakable laws that govern it. In works of fiction, great falls are used to represent finality. Characters are often allowed to cheat death in all sorts of ways, but once you fall into the bottomless pit, it's game over. There's something so absolute about its outcome. To question it would be to question one's own sanity. Only a madman would intentionally step off the platform of unfathomable heights. And yet, in the visual cliff experiment, a few infants would crawl over the cliff completely unfazed. Possibly because they had not yet developed depth perception, but perhaps they grew up to be the very people who override billions of years of evolutionary programming to defy the most fundamental fear of man. This is the story of the world's highest jump. The jump I made here was about a meter, or around 3 feet in height. It's a jump I'm sure most of you would have no problem making as well, but how much higher could you go without hurting yourself in a basic jump like this? In Minecraft, a fall of 4 blocks or higher will make you take damage. A fall of 23.5 blocks is fatal. In reality, the farthest you can safely fall onto a hard surface is around 10 to 12 feet. Higher than that, and you're likely to walk away with minor injuries. When The Undertaker threw Mick Foley off the top of the cell at King of the Ring 98, Foley plummeted at least 16 feet, dislocating his shoulder in the process. A fall of 20 feet or higher will most likely result in serious injuries, and beyond 100 feet, a fall is considered unsurvivable. There's a common misconception that landing in water will break your fall, but due to surface tension, the only thing you'll be breaking is most of your bones. Landing in water from 100 feet is equivalent to landing on concrete. Surviving any fall greater than that is exceedingly rare without protective equipment. But for the vast majority of human history, all people had to brace themselves were their arms and legs. Naturally, this meant that any early attempts at the world's highest jump were almost certainly done so involuntarily. The first unsung record holders of this category may have earned their title by accident, by force, or by a failed attempt to end their life. But if someone in prehistoric times did want to make the jump of a lifetime, how far could they possibly fall? Well, in the age before aircraft, all people had to lift themselves was the terrain of the Earth itself. Mount Everest is the tallest point on Earth, but its slope would prematurely stop you long before you reach the bottom. For a continuous, uninterrupted fall, you would have to jump from the world's tallest cliff. For a purely vertical drop, Mount Thor in Canada has a prominence of over 4,100 feet. While highly unlikely, it's theoretically possible that somebody could have jumped from this height. However, in an age before written history, no one can say for sure. For the first recording of anyone jumping off anything, we have to venture closer to the stone mountains of China. As far as we know, this event may have never happened. The only information on it was written by a guy 2,000 years before our time, about a guy 2,000 years before his time. As the legend goes, Emperor Shun escaped the roof of a burning barn by gliding off using his hat to slow his descent. By my estimate, the jump was probably done from the equivalent of a 2-story building, or about 20 feet. It may not sound like much, but this was significant. It's the earliest recorded instance of anyone jumping with intent, rather than falling by mistake. All future jumps would be successors to Shun's 20-foot leap off the burning barn. The ancient Chinese were one of the first civilizations to experiment with aeronautics. As early as 200 BC, acrobats would use bamboo shoots to perform falling stunts at the imperial palace. By 500 AD, kites had become commonplace in Chinese society. Some kite designs had become aerodynamic enough to support the weight of a man. In 559, Yuan Huangtou was one of several prisoners ordered to be executed by gliding off the 108-foot tall Phoenix Tower. Remarkably, Yuan survived,
God damn
holding
it.
the unofficial jump record in the process. For his achievement, Yuan was executed anyway. Despite his grim fate, the record would remain alive for more than 1,000 years. The next great leap in aeronautical innovation came during the Italian Renaissance. Leonardo da Vinci is often credited with the invention of the parachute, but an even earlier concept can be traced back to 1470 from an anonymous manuscript. In 1615, Fausto Veranzio improved upon Leonardo's design, but so far, the parachute only existed in concept. It wasn't until the 18th century that the parachute was brought into reality. Louis Sebastian Lenormand would design and manufacture the first modern parachute. On December 26, 1783, Lenormand would record the first parachute jump in history by jumping from the upper balcony of the Montpellier Observatory. That very same year, just 120 miles away in Annonay, the Montgolfier brothers would develop the first hot air balloon. Within the span of a few months, mankind had not only broken free from Earth's terrain, but found a way to weaken the grip of gravity itself. And it was only a matter of time before someone would use both to make history. On October 22, 1797, André Garnerin became the first person to parachute out of an aircraft. Garnerin rose to 3,200 feet in a hot air balloon, then severed the basket, parachuting back down unharmed. You could argue that this wasn't a true jump, as Garnerin never actually stepped out of the balloon's basket, but based on the illustrations of the basket's design, I would say that it serves little purpose in actually protecting the user, and rather functions as a necessary component of the parachute itself. The important thing is that André Garnerin flew about 500 feet higher than the top of the Burj Khalifa, then severed his only means of flotation, placing full faith in the thin fabric above his head to ensure that he didn't wind up becoming a human crepe. On that day in 1797, André Garnerin became the first skydiver. Just 5 years later, he would set a new all-time record, jumping from a height of 8,000 feet. Garnerin's aerial heroics would inspire a new generation of daredevils who would replicate his death-defying stunt in front of spectators around the world. 19th century parachuters would draw crowds at local carnivals and other venues by dropping out of the sky from altitudes of 2,000 to 5,000 feet. This range is comparable to the cruising altitude of the Fortnite battle bus, and while the stunts look death-defying, sometimes death would not be defied. In 1837, Robert Cocking earned the grim distinction of becoming the first skydiving fatality, after his parachute failed at 5,000 feet. Cocking was supposedly attempting to reach the 8,000-foot mark that Garnerin had set decades prior, but the record would not be undone. News of Cocking's death was a sobering reminder to the dangers of falling from thousands of feet in the air, and it extinguished the popularity of parachuting for decades afterwards. For the rest of the 1800s, there were no jump attempts on record surpassing Garnerin's 8,000-foot mark. This was mostly due to the limitations of parachutes, as balloons continued to soar throughout the 19th century. Since would-be jumpers were no longer encumbered by the Earth's terrain, the highest theoretical jump was now determined by the balloon altitude record. Even at this time, unmanned balloons could easily rise to tens of thousands of feet, but manned flights now had to deal with the limits of human physiology. Above 15,000 feet, most people will begin to suffer the effects of oxygen deprivation. Most modern-day skydiving excursions will not fly above this altitude for that very reason. Above 26,000 feet is the death zone, the limit beyond which the human body can no longer survive without supplemental oxygen. In 1862, James Glacier and Henry Coxwell became the first people to surpass the death zone. At around 29,000 feet, the pair lost consciousness, with Coxwell barely managing to pull the balloon's valve cord before blacking out. The pair survived when the balloon rapidly descended back to a safe height, but not before setting a new altitude record estimated between 29,000 and 37,000 feet. By 1887, oxygen tanks became commercially available, allowing ballooners to safely enter the death zone. In 1901, Arthur Burson and Reinhard Suhrings hit an official record of 35,000 feet in a hydrogen balloon, this time remaining conscious to record it. In 1927, Hawthorne Gray became the first person to pass the 40,000-foot mark, but perished after running out of oxygen. In 1931, Auguste Piccard and Paul Kupfer passed the 50,000-foot mark, becoming the first people to enter the stratosphere, as well as the first people to truly witness the curvature of the Earth. In 1933, at the Century of Progress World Fair, Thomas Settle and Chester Fordney would surpass 60,000 feet. By this point, record attempts were quickly approaching the next hard limit in manned balloon flights. As altitude increases, air pressure decreases, as does the boiling point of fluids. At around 60,000 feet, air pressure is low enough where the temperature of your body will exceed the boiling point of water, causing your blood to literally boil. This limit is otherwise known as the Armstrong line, and future flights above it will require a pressurized suit. In 1934, the Soviet Union's Osa Vyakhin 1 surpassed the Armstrong line and reached a peak altitude of 72,000 feet, before the balloon disintegrated during its descent, killing all 3 crew members. 1 year later, in what would be a precursor to the space race, the United States took back the record when Albert Stevens and Orville Anderson reached 72,400 feet in the Explorer 2 craft. By this point, balloon flight progression had provided the jump record with massive potential for improvement. But before anyone could attempt a new record, the parachute would have to rise to the occasion.
That's really interesting.
The turn of the 20th century saw 2 tremendous strides in aeronautics, with the invention of the airplane and the airship. The unprecedented boom in air travel renewed interest in the parachute. In 1907, aerial stuntman Charles Broadwick would provide the first major parachute innovation with a static line, which allowed the chute to automatically deploy when jumping out of an aircraft. In 1914, Broadwick's adopted daughter Tiny became the first person to manually deploy a chute while in freefall, eventually leading to the invention of the ripcord. And starting in 1919, Leslie Irvin began manufacturing and distributing the Type A parachute for use as life preservers on airplanes. The Irvin chute would revitalize the pastime of stunt jumping,